Hello and welcome. Nice to have you join us live from Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. You're watching Newsroom Series. I'm Dominic Iwiwa, and today our focus would be on the North Central. We begin in Nasarawa State, where the All Progressives Congress in the state have organized an inter-religious prayer session in honor of Nigeria's late former president, Muhammadu Buhari. The prayer was held at the party secretariat in Lafayette, the Nasarawa state capital. The chairman of the party, Aliyu Bello, noted that the prayers became imperative given the late president's affiliation to the state as the only state governed by the defunct Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, which provided the late president the platform that enabled his emergence in the All Progressives Congress during the merger.
Prayer session. I'm sure we still have a word or two. So then,
As part of activities lined up for the mourning of the late former President General Muhammadu Buhari, an expanded special session of the Federal Executive Council is to take place at the Council Chambers, Presidential Villa, Abuja by 5 p.m. today. The expanded FEC meeting will be attended by the leadership of the National Assembly, the judiciary and representatives of the family of the late former president. President Bola Tinubu had earlier in the week announced that the session would hold on Tuesday the 15th, but it was later rescheduled following the announcement that the burial of the former president would take place on that date. The special prayer session is also scheduled to take place on Friday at the National Mosque, Abuja, while on Sunday, July 20th, a special church service will be conducted in honor of the late president. It appears to be a season of resignation within the PDP as the publisher of Aviation magazine and presidential candidate Mr. Dele Momodu has formally resigned from the People's Democratic Party, citing anti-democratic forces as his reason. His resignation follows that of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. In a letter dated July 17, 2025, Chief Momodu also announced his defection to the African Democratic Congress ADC, aligning with a new opposition coalition ahead of the 2027 general elections. He says PDP has lost its soul, accusing influential figures, most notably the FCT Minister, Mr. Nyesom Wike, of undermining the party from within. He alleges that the APC is deliberately planting moles across opposition ranks to stifle credible alternatives and weaken democratic competition. A vocal critic of the Tinubu administration, Chief Momodu, adds that Nigeria is in a worse state today than it was under former President Buhari. With his move to the ADC, he positions himself as the forefront of what he calls a necessary realignment to rescue the country's democratic future. Some political stakeholders gathered in Ilorin, Kwara State, the capital, and jointly agreed that the new African Democratic Congress ADC is a timely strategic move by the opposition to salvage troubled Nigeria from imminent collapse. According to the participants from across the country, it is only a strong opposition free of direct and indirect influence from the ruling party that can wrest Nigeria from the situation they referred to as an irony of a collapsing rich nation.
Thank you.
They came from different parts of the country to deliberate on what they term fragile Nigeria democracy that needs to be reassessed and the emergence of new coalitions and opposition parties.
Especially for governors that have their resources.
This forms the focus of a colloquium on democracy in Kwara State, where speakers describe the new coalition of the African Democratic Congress as a reminder that democratic expansion and renewal is not only possible, but also already underway.
I assure you, dear friends, that we will not be helpless, and we have refused to remain silent in the face of democratic backsliding. Across the country, civil society is waking up. Students are organizing, and new political movements are emerging. We have witnessed the bold unveiling of the African Democratic Congress, as a credible coalition platform for the opposition, a timely and strategic move to rescue Nigeria from the stranglehold of state capture and creeping one-man rule. The ADC and other allied platforms symbolize more than party politics. They are instruments of democratic restoration, vehicles of civic renewal, and tools to return power to the people. Their emergence is a reminder that democratic expansion and renewal is not only possible, but it is already on the way.
Our 25-year-old.
Other speakers believe that after 26 years, Nigeria has not substantially benefited from the ongoing democratic structure, especially at the judiciary, which needs to be improved on for democracy to thrive.
We have run since 1999. Are they credible? Are they transparent? Are they crisis and fraud free? Are the government our election have thrown up both in form and content, giving us government of the people, by the people, and for the people? These are the issues we now need to examine.
Inadequate funding and resources constraints can hinder the judiciary's operational efficiencies and ability to deliver timely justice. You need something at the court and they'll tell you to pay. You get judgment. You need the court to give you your judgment and they tell you to pay. Some minor things that you don't even expect, that ordinarily it shouldn't be. You get to our courtrooms today and you ask yourself, am I actually in the court?
Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of Labour Party in the last election, Mr. Peter Obi, who was represented by the National Coordinator of Obedience Movement, Tanko Yunus, says the present democracy being practiced in the country does not cater to the needs of the citizens.
Has democracy as it's standing today been for the people? Has it been by the people? And is it demanding and delivering to the people? The question is absolutely no. So what do we do? How do you explain that those that you're supposed to govern, you continue to tax them and without giving them anything in return? How do you explain the people that you're supposed to govern, you kept them in perpetual hunger and you expect them to be contributing to the system? How do you expect that the younger generation who are looking for work, who have gone through the first corners of the university, are still looking for job? It's only when you know somebody who knows somebody that can help you to get a job in the country. Is that democracy?
The major consensus here is for Nigerians to reassess the leadership in the country and choose wisely in the next general election.
Please come and give us some preparation.
Justice Mary Ann Anene of the Federal Capital Territory High Court says the international passport of the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, was not in its custody, but in the custody of the Federal High Court, Abuja. Justice Anene made this known at the resumed hearing of the alleged money laundering case instituted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against the former governor. She held that the court would have considered the application for the release of the defendant's travel documents if it were to be in its custody. She said even if the request to retrieve the international passport were to be granted, it would be of no effect since the passport was not in the custody of the court but before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court. The former governor is facing similar charges at both the FCT and Federal High Courts, Abuja. He had filed an application requesting for the release of his international passport to enable him to travel out of the country on health grounds. His counsel and senior advocate of Nigeria, Joseph Daudu, had earlier submitted that the international passport being requested was not in the custody of the court. The applicant had previously been ordered to deposit his international passport and other travel documents with the registry of the court. The case has been adjourned to October 8, 9, and November 13, 2025 for continuation of hearing. The International Funds for Agricultural Development is deploying agroclimatic resilience in semi-arid farming communities to maximize the expertise knowledge of the team from Green Vest Environmental Sustainability Project. The State Program Coordinator, Mr. Emmanuel Igbaunkum, at the ceremony in Makurdi after the field visits with farming clusters in Ikmayogo and Alaide, says aside the extension and off-taker services provided, the need to adopt climate sensitivity farm practices is key to improve crop yield.
Farming communities in Ipayango clusters converge for a meeting on climate sensitivity farm practices under the International Funds for Agricultural Development. Officials from IFED and partners from Greenvest Environmental Project arrived to begin training for the farmers and data collection as one of the beneficiaries speak.
Before, we were not aware of climate change, but with the help of IFED, they introduced Greenvest and they have enlightened us how we can move about our climate change in our farm. They have educated us how to plant our rice and plant our cassava. It helps us to bring off-takers.
In Aliade, the Benue State pioneer dry-seasoned farmer who is leading farmers in the area shares ideas on the early onset of rain planting and effect of drought, while the team lead speaks on the gains expected from the training.
It's actually of great help. Like now, the first rain, it is our notion in this part of the state that we plant. Once the rain is much, we plant. And in most cases, what we plant doesn't get subsequent rains immediately. So the things die or they don't grow well. So they harvest the early farming crops don't yield well due to lack of water or due to drought. So it is not easy for us to ignore Greenvest because it is of very, very, very important to us.
We are visiting communities and Commodity Alliance Forum clusters in Benue State to validate their climate vulnerability, to assess their climate smart agricultural needs and their training and capacity vulnerability levels so that we can train farmers on climate smart agriculture and nature-based solutions and introduce them to best and good agricultural practices.
To formalize these interventions, the farmers led by the Commodity Alliance Forum's chairman and a team from IFED and their partners sign agreements. Parties speak on the extent of the interventions on climate sensitivity farm practices.
We have signed MOU with Greenvest and we hope to unveil a lot of activities that will help the farmer to address some of the critical climate issues that our farmer has been facing over the time.
Signing this MOU with this organization will help us completely eliminate this idea of droughts affecting our crops. See, by doing this, we are going to practice, make use of drought-resistant crop seeds. From there, we now adopt, follow the practices which this organization is teaching us.
These interventions over the years have improved farmers' yield per hectare, but the introduction of climate sensitivity farm practices, farmers in Benue are upbeat on the opportunity the knowledge transfer presents.
About 100 nature-positive micro, small and medium enterprises in Nasarawa State have undergone training on how to gain global market access and make their businesses more sustainable. The training under the Support to Potential and Existing Nature-Positive MSMEs project is an initiative by the International Trade Facilitators Association, funded by the Global Environment Facility Small Grants Program and implemented by the United Nations Development Program. The training held in Lafia, the Kwara State capital, marks the first of 6 national sessions aimed at empowering MSMEs across Nigeria to champion both economic prosperity and environmental stewardship. You're watching Newsroom Series live on Channels Television. Still ahead, we'll bring you more stories from the North Central. Stay with us. Welcome back. In its bid to further ensure that only wholesome meat is made available to Kwarans, the Kwara State government, through the State Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support (LPRES), has concluded the 5-day training on proper meat handling and animal waste management in abattoirs. The training program was conducted by Crown Owners Consult Limited and had over 100 participants present who were drawn from the Butchers Association, environmentalists, health practitioners, LPRES staff and other stakeholders in the meat value chain.
A 5-day training program on proper meat handling and animal waste management in abattoirs organized by the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support comes to an end in Kwara State. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Livestock Development, Yahya Mohammed, brings the event to a close on behalf of the Governor, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak. Stressing the importance of training, he says diseases that are caused by consumption of unwholesome meat will reduce drastically when participants put to use the knowledge acquired.
Most of these diseases that are rampant today majorly come from consumption of meat. So it is then fit that through livestock that we should organize butchers and both private and general butchers in the state for this training to enlighten them more on their practices, the unhygienic practices they have been doing, the disadvantages of what they are doing and what they need to do, and to also enlighten them more to step up their business from the local way of handling meat to a more modern way of meat selling.
In the same vein, the Kwara State Coordinator for LPRES, Olusoji Oyawoye, says the purpose of the training is to enhance the meat value chain in Kwara State, noting that a lot of the meat sold and bought in Kwara State is unhygienic.
If somebody should die from meat poisoning, don't blame our government. Government has given us everything. This training is expensive. You supported every single thing. It's not for us to go and do what you've learned. So don't blame the government for anything when you've not done your own part well. You have no right to raise a voice against you who are president. If on your table you are using dirty tools, dirty PPE to slaughter animals. But thank God for this training. We look forward to having more engagement with other stakeholders in the state. And I believe that Kwara State is changing. But one of the things that can actually help us when we stop patronizing those we call quacks in terms of meat, abattoir management and hygiene. Then to buy, and I know that the people are working more, and the director is there, to ensure that these things are followed. So you don't buy beef or chicken or meat or even fish from places that are unhygienic.
Some participants give assurances that henceforth, butchers in the state will take the issues of hygiene more seriously.
For the person handling the meat, he has to get himself first cleaned with the use of PPE, personal protective equipment, as we have been taught. And we, inshallah, we promise that from now on, after this training, we will begin to use all the PPE that has been distributed for us earlier.
With the 5-day training concluded, the butchers are expected to ensure that meats being sold to the public are safe for consumption.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has flagged off the distribution of farm inputs and equipment to farmers in Kogi State under the Renewed Hope Initiative Agricultural Support Program. Speaking during the inauguration through her representative, the wife of the Kogi State Governor, Sefinat Ododo, in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, Mrs. Tinubu said the initiative was part of the Renewed Hope Initiative unwavering commitment to supporting women and youth farmers across the nation, with the ultimate goal of transforming agriculture and improving livelihoods across Nigeria.
Women and youths in Kogi State receive farm inputs and implements under the Renewed Hope Initiative program taking place simultaneously across the 36 states. Beneficiaries from the 21 local government areas of the states gather at the Muhammad Buhari Center in Lokoja, the state capital.
Let us put our hands together for him as he does that.
The Renewed Hope Initiative Agricultural Support Program has been mainstreamed by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security at the state and federal government levels to foster a prosperous agricultural future.
The Renewed Hope Initiative reflection is a collective achievement, striving towards agricultural sector development in the area of food accessibility and affordability. That is, food security vis-a-vis food sovereignty, through the use of cooperatives in particular.
Under the Women Agricultural Support Program, we are going to support 33 women today. Some of them will be having this multipurpose agro-processing equipment, and others will also have support under the poultry entrepreneurship. Under the Youth Agricultural Support Program, we are going to support 37 number of them, and those under this category, they are expected to go into maize and cassava production.
Your Excellency, Ma.
Represented by the wife of the Kogi State Governor, Sefinat Ododo, Nigeria's First Lady, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, says the initiative aligns with the broader national agenda of strengthening the agricultural sector.
To the beneficiary, I congratulate you all. This support is not just a gift, but an investment in your farm, your future, and the food security of our community and the nation.
She flags off the distribution and hands over 50,000 naira to each of the beneficiaries.
This empowerment needed 50,000 support.
The initiative comprises 4 key agricultural support programs: Women Agricultural Support Program, Youth Agricultural Support Program, Every Home a Garden Initiative, and the Young Farmers Club.
In a renewed drive to promote transparency and accountability in the education sector, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, in collaboration with the Niger State Universal Basic Education Board, has organized a capacity-building workshop for education secretaries and education officers across the 25 local government areas of Niger State. The workshop focused on instilling core values such as integrity, transparency, accountability, and teamwork among education managers, particularly in handling public funds and discharging official responsibilities. Speaking at the event, Muhammad Ibrahim, Executive Chairman of Nsubeb, said the agency has a duty to manage public resources judiciously for the benefit of children and the future of Niger State. Also speaking, Acting Provost of the Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria, Clement Obayi, describes education as the bedrock of any nation's development.
As an agency, we know that we have an obligation to government, to the people of Niger, to deliver on the various funds that have been entrusted to us by both Niger State government and the federal government of Nigeria through Universal Basic Education Commission, to deliver on those for the benefit of children and actually the future of the state. We want to ensure that the children that we bring up, our children are responsible members of the society. But then the level of training that we're doing now is to ensure that those of us that are managers of education do our job very well, and then ensure that everything that we have, we can account for it, we're transparent for everybody to see, there's integrity in what we are doing, and we're working as a team.
Education is the bedrock of any development. And if you get education right, then you get the country right, you get the state right, and you get the people right. So we are coming here to Niger State to train our education officers on the need of integrity, accountability, and teamwork to make education great in Niger State. And we are very happy for the governor and for the chairman, Subeb, who approved the program for our educators.
The University of Jos is gearing up to host the 26th Niger University Games Association Championship scheduled for November 2025. Preparations for the Games is ongoing, according to the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Tanko Ishaya, who expressed confidence in the university's ability to deliver a world-class event, as preparations are already in top gear with development of new sports facilities.
It's a media briefing to sensitize stakeholders for the 2025 Nigeria University Games scheduled for November at the University of Jos.
That was Uni Port Harcourt, and now it's time for University of Jos. So Uni Port Harcourt have been consistent winners.
The University of Jos is partnering with Plateau State Government, National Sports Commission, security agencies, and other organizations to ensure a successful tournament. The local organizing committee for the Games reaffirms the university's readiness to host the intercollegiate competition.
And we assure you, come November, you will have a very great time here in Jos. You will witness tourism, the peace, and the cultural heritage of the people of Plateau State, and the hospitality of the state, and the temperate climate. Plateau State is naturally endowed for sports. We have the best temperate climate, and we have an altitude here that is over 1,400 meters above sea level. And so if you want to have high performance conditioning, this is the place to be.
The institution plans to establish a sports institute offering degree programs and diplomas in sports-related fields to professionalize Nigerian sports and improve the country's GDP.
University management has already said that they are also going to be looking at a sports institute. So we are also trying to drive the value chain in sports, whereby we begin to have various series during the whole year, unlike just seasonal. So the vision is long, and that's what we are trying to do.
A lot of things have happened, and we are bringing it back, and we're bringing it back strong, which is why Mr. President have adopted it to support the youth, support the educational system while building the business of sport.
The University of Jos is developing new sports facilities to accommodate various sporting events as it seeks to deliver an exciting experience to participating athletes and spectators.
And that's where we drop the anchor on this edition of Newsroom Series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Enjoy the rest of your day.